Why are home prices climbing even when interest rates aren't the main villain? The answer hides in a word that sounds distant but hits close to home: tariffs. These taxes on imported materials like steel, lumber, and aluminum are quietly rewriting the cost of building and buying houses. Every nail, beam, and window now carries a hidden price tag. Tariffs don't just affect trade. They shape where we live, how much we pay, and even what our neighborhoods look like. So, how are they transforming real estate's future? Let's find out. Number 1, the hidden price of a home. Every home has a secret ingredient that shapes its cost: materials. From lumber frames to steel beams and copper wiring, these essentials often come from abroad. When tariffs strike, the prices of these imports soar, and builders have no choice but to pass that extra cost to buyers. A new house that once cost $350,000 may now reach $370,000, all because of trade taxes you'll never see on paper. Even small apartment projects feel the squeeze, forcing developers to raise rents or delay construction. What begins as a political decision in trade offices ends up influencing your neighborhood, your budget, and even the kind of home you can afford. Number 2, what exactly are tariffs? At its core, a tariff is a tax placed on goods imported from another country. Imagine a toll booth at the border. Before foreign products can enter, they must pay a fee. Governments often use tariffs to protect local businesses and workers, but there's a catch: they make imported items more expensive. Builders who rely on global materials suddenly face higher bills. When that happens, housing prices rise and affordability drops. Tariffs can also trigger trade wars, where countries retaliate with their own taxes. What starts as a push for fairness in global trade often turns into a ripple that affects the price of your future home or rental apartment. Number 3, tariffs through time, from 1789 to today. Tariffs have been part of America's story since its earliest days. In 1789, the U.S. introduced them to fund schools, roads, and early government projects. During the 1800s, high tariffs helped protect factories, fueling job growth and manufacturing power. But by the 1930s, things turned sour. Massive tariffs during the Great Depression froze trade and sent prices soaring, including housing costs. Builders struggled to find affordable materials, and families waited years for new homes. After World War II, tariffs eased, global trade expanded, and cheap imports helped power America's suburban housing boom. Today, with tariffs returning in full force, history seems to be repeating itself. But this time, the stakes are higher. Number 4, the 2025 tariff wave. In 2025, new tariff policies hit the real estate world hard. The U.S. government raised import taxes on steel, aluminum, and copper by up to 50%, and similar measures followed for other countries. These moves aimed to strengthen local industries but quickly backfired for builders and buyers. Construction companies saw material costs jump nearly overnight, and many projects were delayed or canceled. Experts estimate that these tariffs alone added $5,000 to $20,000 to the price of a single-family home. Apartment projects also slowed down by more than 70%. The goal was to support local factories, but instead it's made housing more expensive for everyone trying to find a place to live. Number 5, when builders feel the burn. Tariffs hit builders first and hardest. Many construction companies depend on imported materials for speed, quality, and price stability. When tariffs raise those prices, builders must either pause projects, redesign homes, or pay extra. Small companies often can't compete with large firms that buy materials in bulk. One builder in Texas reported losing thousands when steel prices jumped by 7% overnight. Even switching to local materials isn't a perfect fix. Domestic suppliers often raise prices too once competition from abroad disappears. The result? Fewer homes get built, timelines stretch, and buyers face steeper prices. Tariffs designed to protect jobs often end up costing builders theirs and stalling entire neighborhoods. Number 6, the ripple effect on renters and buyers. When construction costs climb, those expenses ripple through the market like waves. Home buyers feel it first through higher mortgage amounts, while renters face rising monthly costs as landlords adjust for pricier renovations and repairs. In 2025, the average new home price in the U.S. rose 3.7%, reaching nearly $430,000. Meanwhile, rents jumped about 4% nationwide. Families who once dreamed of ownership are now renting longer, waiting for prices to stabilize. Unfortunately, fewer homes are being built, which means less supply and more competition. Whether you're buying, renting, or renovating, tariffs make everything, from tiles to taps, cost more. It's a quiet pressure squeezing households from every direction. Number 7. Mortgage rates and market stress. Tariffs don't just raise material prices, they ripple into financial markets too. When goods become more expensive, inflation rises. To control inflation, central banks raise interest rates. That means higher mortgage rates for buyers. In 2025, rates climbed from 6% to 6.5% and may reach 7% soon. For an average family, that small increase can mean losing $20,000 in buying power. Sellers also feel the impact, as homes take longer to sell and listings pile up. Meanwhile, uncertainty makes investors cautious, pulling funds from risky real estate projects. It's a domino chain. Tariffs spark inflation. Inflation triggers higher rates, and higher rates cool down the housing market, slowing it all to a crawl. Number 8. Investors on alert. Real estate investors are walking a fine line in this tariff-heavy economy. Flippers, landlords, and developers all face growing costs. Renovation projects are pricier than ever. Roof replacements, flooring, and fixtures now cost thousands more due to import taxes. Many investors are pivoting to rentals since fewer people can afford to buy homes. Others focus on using U.S.-made materials, which are slightly more expensive up front, but save time and money long-term. Smart investors lock in loan rates early and work with local suppliers to avoid global price swings. It's no longer just about location, it's about strategy. Those who adapt quickly can still thrive, but anyone ignoring tariffs risks losing big. Number 9. Global shockwaves and local shifts. Tariffs don't stop at national borders, they spark reactions worldwide. Countries hit by U.S. tariffs often respond with their own, raising prices for American goods in return. Canada, Japan, and the EU have all imposed counter-tariffs, disrupting supply chains that feed into the U.S. housing industry. These tensions cause longer shipping delays and higher costs for everything from glass to electrical wiring. Yet some areas benefit. In the American South and Midwest, domestic factories are reopening to fill the gap, bringing jobs and boosting local housing demand. Meanwhile, coastal cities relying on imports are struggling. This global tug-of-war is redrawing economic maps and reshaping where Americans build, buy, and settle down. Number 10. The verdict: boom or bust. So, will tariffs ultimately help or harm real estate? The truth lies somewhere in between. In the short term, they're raising home prices, slowing construction, and making life harder for first-time buyers. But in the long run, they might encourage more domestic production, creating stable supply chains and jobs close to home. Economists predict that by 2027, home price growth could slow to 2 to 3% annually as builders adapt. However, if global trade tensions continue, affordability could worsen before improving. Tariffs have proven they can shape not just the economy, but where and how people live. Real estate's future now depends on how we balance protection with progress. Tariffs might seem like distant trade tools, but they're shaping the homes we live in and the prices we pay every day. From higher construction costs to shifting housing markets, these policies are building the blueprint of tomorrow's real estate world. Understanding them means staying one step ahead in a market full of surprises. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay informed and stay inspired.